Yes, Egypt just had an earthquake and it was felt by tens of millions of people. Occurring at 3 a.m. local time on August 3rd, 2026, a magnitude 5.6 earthquake struck at shallow depths on the western end of the Sinai Peninsula. While seismic monitoring stations in the region are fairly sparse, so what I'm about to say is unproven and involves a lot of inference, I suspect that ground motion near the epicenter peaked at just over M5.6, with the equivalent shaking being shown in this simulation. However, few structures were present nearby, so no structural damage was reported, and in fact, no damage of any kind was noted. Just many instances of startled people, and people hearing sounds vaguely similar to distant explosions. There were no explosions, as these booming sounds represented an audible phenomenon some earthquakes can produce. Per a direct quote from the U.S. Geological Survey, high-frequency vibrations from the shallow earthquake generate the booming sound. When earthquakes are deeper, those vibrations never reach the surface. Although Egypt isn't widely associated with the potential for earthquakes that could cause damage, it's actually more likely than some people might think. My case in point, the Lighthouse of Alexandria. After standing as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world for more than 1,000 years, progressive earthquake damage from multiple events caused it to eventually collapse. While some of the earthquakes in question originated far away, such as in Greece, some others, in my opinion, may have originated within a section of Egypt. And don't get me started on a 1992 earthquake that caused many casualties in Cairo. In at least one specific spot near Egypt, a magnitude 7 earthquake has already historically struck. The magnitude 5.6 earthquake thus would not even rank in the top 10 largest earthquakes to strike the country based on its present borders superimposed to past dates. But why did this earthquake occur in the first place? The answer is slow, ongoing rifting in a failed continental rift that denotes the Gulf of Suez. The long and narrow bodies of water to the east and west of the Sinai Peninsula aren't there by mere coincidence. They both represent areas where, to an extent, the crust began spreading apart millions of years ago, eventually creating deep segments below sea level that were later infilled with water. While the Gulf of Aqaba, forgive my likely incorrect pronunciation, began forming 15 million years ago and was successfully able to become the site of a tectonic plate boundary, the Gulf of Suez represents a failed continental rift that was not able to do this. The Gulf of Suez's rifting began around 26 million years ago, and since rifting tectonic settings create normal faults, many of these formed to accommodate the spreading motion. These dipped westwards on the eastern side and eastwards on the western side. Per a direct quote from the Wikipedia page on the Gulf of Suez Rift, the formation of the Red Sea Gulf of Suez Rift system was caused by the anti-clockwise rotation of the Arabian Plate with respect to the African Plate. Towards the end of the Miocene, the Arabian Plate began to collide with the Eurasian Plate, leading to changes in the plate configuration, the development of the Dead Sea Transform. And this process caused a significant reduction in the rate of rifting within the Gulf of Suez. In other words, rifting began about 26 million years ago and notably declined in intensity around 5 million years ago. While the peak of rifting in the Gulf of Suez ended many millions of years ago, it is still today spreading apart at an average rate of 0.4 millimeters a year. This not only can cause stress to build on the fault lines in the Gulf of Suez Rift, but also related parallel faults that formed at the outer edges of this ancient rift. And it is one of those faults that I interpret generated the August 3rd earthquake. I was not able to find or even spot which fault line generated this earthquake, but if it has a surface exposure, it is likely within 8.5 kilometers of the U.S. Geological Survey's noted epicenter. I estimate that around a 4-kilometer long section of fault slept in the aforementioned earthquake. Some aftershocks could now occur, and some of these could be large enough to be felt by people, although even larger magnitude earthquakes in the very close vicinity in the short-term future, in my opinion, remain statistically unlikely. As a final note, I would like to thank this channel's patrons on Patreon and channel members on YouTube for supporting my work.